What's up, everybody? My name is Lee Shaner, and you're tuned into You Feel Me. Yeah, so like some people celebrate the endless summer and you just have the endless winter.
Yeah, I guess so. I definitely travel around looking for snow all the time.
Where's it at right now? The Alps or something?
Well, there's still snow in North America. Like a lot of glaciers are going, then there's glaciers in Europe. But where it's winter would be the southern hemisphere, like Chile, Argentina, New Zealand, and Australia.
Yeah, right.
So I always go down there.
Yeah, totally. How often do you take like time off and not snowboard?
I've had to take a lot of time off due to injuries and stuff, but try and snowboard as much as I can, but try and pick and choose my battles. You know?
Right.
Quality versus quantity.
Yeah, totally.
And I'm always traveling, or I take time for myself for sure, but a lot of the time when I'm not snowboarding, I'm doing work based off of what I've been able to do on my snowboard. So that's kind of cool, though. A lot of good experiences and a lot of crazy opportunities that come from riding a piece of wood down a mountain.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's like kind of one of the ongoing themes when I talk to athletes. It's like, there's this romantic notion that you get to like survive off this thing that you love doing as a kid, but at the same time, the job part of it is still a job like any other.
Yeah.
And it's probably boring and taxing just like anything else.
Totally. It's not all the time that you're just snowboarding for fun, but you gotta make it fun, and that comes across better than it does if you treat it like a serious job.
How do you make it fun?
Just never take anything too seriously, and obviously I like doing well, so I work hard to do well in contests and stuff, but I just try and always snowboard with my friends, or if I'm doing work, make sure it's working with my friends and stuff like that. Yeah.
Can we talk about the injury? We don't have to if you don't want to. We'll edit on it. We can skip it.
Over it.
Okay, fine. Yeah, I was just curious on my own personal account, but we don't have to talk about that at all.
I'm sure there's like a million and a half interviews.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure. So, from Canada?
From Canada.
What part of Canada? I forget.
I'm from Saskatchewan, which is Midwest. So right above North Dakota.
Yeah, right.
Like I'm close to the middle, but more on the west side. And it's very flat and...
so not steep and deep.
No, definitely not.
You guys have gnarly winters or no?
Very gnarly winters, but it's flat and it's windy and it's tough, but it was enough to learn the basics of snowboarding.
So you grew up on like bunny hills that are icy, and you probably had to do some night riding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good guess.
Well, because, I'm from Alaska, and I'm from Fairbanks, so I'm not from the mountainy part of Alaska. I'm from like the flat, icy, windy, cold part.
Yeah.
And it's dark for... sometimes 22 hours a day up there. So all of our riding was night riding. It was like a trip when I would come down here and like ride during the day. It didn't make sense to me,
Wow. That's crazy to hear. Yeah. Alaska, definitely. When I hear Alaska, I think just about gnarliest AK lines and big mountains.
Right.
But there's places in Alaska that are flat, huh?
It's just the sticks. Yeah. Cause I'm from like right in the middle. So it's like a valley. There's mountains all around us, but we're just foothills. That's it. One of our lift lines up there, shout out Moose Mountain. It's actually a heated bus. It's like the only one in the country, I think, where it's like old school buses that take you to the top of the mountain instead of lift lines.
No way.
Yeah, how's that?
Yeah, that is pretty crazy. Just like up the service road.
Yeah, just up a back dirt road up the side of the mountain.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty weird. But
what's that resort? Moose.
It's called Moose Mountain.
Moose Mountain.
That's about as Fairbanksian as you can get. So,
really? And how many meters would that be, or how many feet tall?
How tall? Oh, not tall, but pretty decent vertical incline. But like small. I mean, it's like a bunny hill.
Yeah.
It takes you 4 or 5 minutes to get down.
Okay, yeah.
It's nothing. What was your home mountain like?
It was 290 feet vertical.
Yeah.
And it took about 30 seconds.
Yeah. Was it just a T-bar?
Yeah, when I grew up, but they have a chairlift now.
Oh, they upgraded on them.
Stepping up.
Yeah.
But the chairlift takes so long. But Mission Ridge is a great place to learn, and the people put a lot of effort into the park now. And a lot of I'm pretty sure both my Olympic medals hang there, and a bunch of cool stuff for the youth to get pumped on. And there's a huge snowboard scene for what sort of terrain we have.
Yeah. Are you the first snowboarder in your family, or did your parents get you into it?
Well, my brother and I, Craig McMorris, started snowboarding on the same day. we actually were renovating our house, and my mom took us to Lake Louise, which is in Banff, Alberta.
Yeah.
And we were about to go into ski lessons, but we already had skateboards. We were 5 and 7.
Yeah.
And we're like, no, we were going to skateboard on the snow.
Right.
And then we took like a 30-minute lesson and haven't stopped snowboarding since.
That's like pretty much all. I mean, you probably didn't even need a lesson. You're probably like,
when you're that young, like, you don't really remember learning, and it's so much easier.
It just comes to
so
you
crazy.
naturally.
Like, I noticed that like skateboarding and snowboarding, those fundamentals, I don't remember learning them, but like getting into surfing since I was like 17 or 18 has just been like, it's hard to learn things as an adult.
Yeah, absolutely. And things are scarier when you're an adult.
Yeah.
Like, you're made of rubber when you're 5 years old, so you don't give a shit.
Thinking about it. Yeah.
You're not like, oh, will my health insurance cover this? You know what I'm saying? How did you pick up a skateboard at 5? How did your brother pick up one up at 7? Like,
we started skateboarding because luckily we had really cool neighbors, or a couple kids on the block actually, that had like little quarter pipes in their yard.
Sick.
And yeah, we had a pretty cool group of kids that lived on our cul-de-sac. And
this is what, like around the time of the original X Games, when like the first wave of extreme sports was hella popping?
Totally. Yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
And they just lent me a skateboard, and I remember when it broke, I was so worried that my parents wouldn't buy me a new one, and they definitely made me work for it. But my parents were always really supportive of action sports, and
that's cool.
They were cool.
What did your folks do for work?
My mom was a nurse, you know. And then my dad was a minister of health. Like, he works for the government power in Saskatchewan.
Is that something you get voted into?
Yeah, like he worked as an MLA, and we also farmed.
Oh, wow.
Then once he started to get into politics, we weren't at the farm as much.
What did you guys farm?
Just grains.
Did you grew up on a farm?
I didn't grow up there, but we had like a house in the city, and then an inherited farm from my grandpa and grandma. Yeah. Yeah,
that's pretty sick. So is that how the family ended up in Canada? Was because of farming?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. How many generations deep in Canada?
That's a really good question. What's the website?
You got a 23andMe or something. Yeah. Ancestry.com. Let's hear about how your parents got to Canada.
Yeah. I know my grandparents were born in Canada, so I think 4
it goes way
3.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So how big is the city in Saskatchewan?
I'm from the capital.
Yeah.
It's called Regina. The Rolling Stones made it famous by saying the city that rhymes with fun.
There you go. Yeah, and I'm sure you've had to tell that to like a million people.
Yeah. Or like when you're checking in to a flight, I'll never forget this in Denver, and I was like, going to Regina. She's like, it's Regina, you're saying it wrong. I was like, no, girl. It's Regina.
That's funny.
But yeah, there's like 250,000 people there, capital, and it's growing for sure. I never really get back too much, and I was just there yesterday, and it's changing so much. It's growing, so
yeah.
Even if it never grows too much in population, city's always evolving, and
totally,
it's a really good place to live. It's one of my favorite places to be in the summer for sure.
Really?
Yep.
Was there a lot of stuff to do as a kid, or were you just concentrating on skating?
Lots of stuff to do as a kid.
Yeah.
It's like lake country. There's so many lakes, and every person basically has a family cabin or a friend that has a cabin, or they live out at the lake. And
right.
I was lucky enough to grow up on a lake pretty much all summer, every summer. And
so jet skis and
jet skis and boating and just
inner
being
tubes.
Around.
Yeah.
You know, it's a nice spot.
So you wakeboard too then, probably, or what?
Not really, but we will wake surf a lot when we go home and stuff, just due to like injuries, and snowboarding has been really good to me. I don't want to mess it up doing something silly, and I think it's pretty hard on the knees. So
yeah, totally. So it sounds like you have a very just outdoorsy family in general.
Yeah, my family loves playing sports. We played in this like pretty intense sports day in a very small town outside of Saskatchewan on Saturday, just the other day, and we always bring 2 teams in. It's like a family tradition, and we're always doing something like that. They love snowboarding and skiing, and my parents don't skate, but my dad will like wake surf and stuff.
Really?
He's cool.
Was your dad like a gnarly competitive dude as a youngster too?
I think so.
Yeah.
I played really competitive hockey.
Oh, okay, yeah. Did you ever play hockey?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, of course.
I played every sport.
What was your sport that you excelled at the most beyond snow and skate?
Hockey.
Hockey? What'd you play?
I played center.
Oh yeah.
Yep, played like AAA hockey my whole life, and then snowboarding was just starting to I was starting to get opportunities to go places, and I was on O'Neill before I was on Burton like 10 years ago now, and they were just bringing me around Canada and got my kind of like start and got me to some events, and it was crazy to look back on those times, and glad I went the route I did. A lot of my friends play in the NHL, but their lives are all the same, nobody lives a life like me, and I'm so thankful for that. You can't compare.
Well, there aren't a lot of people on the planet that get to live a life like yours, or that live a life like yours.
That's what I'm saying. I just feel so lucky.
The time that I've spoken to you before, we wrote up a lift line together at Mount Hood, and I hadn't kept up with like pro snowboarding in a long time, so I was kind of unaware, and you're telling me all the stuff you were doing, and I'm like, when the fuck do you sleep? You had like a TV show going, you were on the road, you were doing photo shoots, you're doing everything, and then finding time to compete and practice and all that stuff, and it's just like, you seem like you live a whirlwind.
Yeah, it's definitely a whirlwind, a lot of travel, a lot of my days are spent in transit, but I don't know. Get it while I'm young, I'll chill when I'm older.
There you go, Sleep when I'm dead.
Yeah. I have fun moving around, and sometimes like going to the airport and sitting on the plane sucks. But like showing up in a new destination, and you land in Tokyo, and I know I have 10 close homies that I can hit up, or like anywhere around the world. It's pretty much like that. We're so connected, and you meet so many people. So
yeah, you got a tour guide in every city, a couch to crash on.
Yeah, whatever it may be. And then obviously like a lot of times when I'll go places, I'm working, so I can like bring friends to those events or contests or shoots or whatever it may be.
Right. When you think back to starting snowboarding, did it ever seem like, did it not instantly, but eventually seem like, I could make a career out of this? Or did it just kind of fall into place that way? Were you striving for that, or did it just happen?
No, I just think I really, really loved snowboarding. I could tell I liked that the most out of anything I had been doing, and winters were really long, and we had all the snowboard movies, and it just didn't really seem like a reality because it was just so far-fetched. And
did you have a snowboarding video games? Did you play any of those?
Yeah, I think we had Amped and stuff.
There was a really great ESPN like X Games snowboarding game.
Yeah, Peter Lyon was on the cover.
Yeah, that was sick.
But yeah, it was just something so far out that it was like,
why did it seem far out?
Well, because there was not a single person from where I'm from that made it as a pro snowboarder, and even in Canada, there was pro snowboarders, but not many, and not, and then, I just wanted to be, like, once I started competing and doing that, I was just like, I just want to be a pro snowboarder and make a living. I don't care if I'm winning. I don't care if I'm in the biggest videos, and then I think I just really loved snowboarding a lot, that I put all my energy and passion into it and started working out, and I don't know, I've had really good luck in contests. And
I would imagine as a kid you could get really cheap lift tickets in Regina to like season tickets. I mean, like season passes are probably like what, $90 or something.
Yep. And then we were really young.
And how many days a week would you go during the winter? Every day?
Nah, it's too far from the city.
Oh, how far was it?
40 minutes, but like we would definitely be there on the weekends. If I had a practice or a game, we would go around that. And then my parents were, and then when I was like 13, they started Team Saskatchewan, and it was like a little bit more government funding, so we'd have pretty much free passes at every resort in Canada, and we would go to the mountains every weekend. So I was lucky that like I was in the right place at the right time, because the very first year that was even like started, I was 13 and was on it, and before that there wasn't anything like it. So,
and were the park systems kind of already set up? So here's the thing, is that I'm probably pretty much older than you, and I kind of remember when I was I think I'm very much older than you, but my point is, like, the parks at the level that they are now didn't really start until I was about 16. I remember when Mammoth made their like first super park, and before that, it just wasn't a thing. Like, some places had half pipes and shit like that. But by the time you're 13 and getting competitive, did your local areas already have parks that you could go rip in and practice?
The local park, like at Mission Ridge, was pretty well hand shaped by the locals. Like it was nothing like when I would go out to the mountains. But when I went out to the mountains, that was like
they already had their shit together. That was
watching the movies. You know, it was when I would see people hit the big jumps or spin, I was just like, holy shit. You know, just couldn't believe that people, like an average person, could even hit that stuff, because I'd never seen anything on that scale.
Yeah.
But being around it a bunch, and then also not being jaded, like so ready to get after it when I'd get to the mountains, you know, and be first one on the hill and the last one off. You know? Right. It's definitely different now, but I'm really appreciative of my drive and passion for the sport. And when you look at the best pro snowboarders in the world, none of them really come from Whistler or Park City, or, you know, it's just everybody's from Norway or Finland or Saskatchewan or Quebec, where not the best mountains are. Because
then you have that hunger where you want to take advantage of it. You're not spoiled, right?
Yeah. There's a few lucky ones that are just so talented and were growing up on their amazing mountains and make it. But when you look at the majority, it's pretty bizarre where everybody's from.
Totally. Well, take me back to that time when you're just like, the hunger inside of you was everything and that passion was everything, and you're seeing those people do things that you've never seen before. What was it like your first time hitting something like that and like clearing, you know, a gap or fucking getting over the tabletop and landing on the landing? Yeah,
just trying. Obviously, when you're a really little kid, you need to judge speed a little differently, because the bigger guys are going to go faster and stuff. But like you said, it was rubber. I could land on the deck or could deal with stuff like that. And obviously, over time, I got better and better. But the guy that would sort of chaperone, coach us, was a pretty solid big mountain rider. And when he would take us to the mountains, we wouldn't just go straight to the park, because we needed to learn real mountain board control and stuff growing up on that small resort. We could jib and we could do all that great, but he would always make us go like ride the mountain and free ride and learn how to actually be a good snowboarder.
Don't you feel like that's something that's so forgotten now?
So forgotten.
Like, kids don't learn that anymore. They just wait in line.
Just ride down the resort. Even kids that compete on a pro circuit to this day, they look so in control in the air, and then in between the jumps, they're like
no style.
They don't use their edges. They're just like
right.
So
is everybody's
it's really
edges
frustrating,
down
actually.
Yeah.
But there's some real ones still.
Yeah. Do you still have that passion for like big mountain riding? Like what stokes you out on a level now when you ride?
Heliboarding.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing in the world to do. Riding big mountain, fresh terrain, natural, not even building stuff, just like riding the mountain and doing the best stuff you can do on it, and just dumbs it down. Like finding a spot to do a big front three or a back three with no pat downs, no nothing, that is challenging. That's as hard as doing a backside triple cork for me, you know, like I and that brings me almost more joy, you know, but it's everything in moderation. The last few years I haven't really been able to film because I've been busy trying to get to the Olympics and get healthy and stuff. And then when backcountry time comes around, I broke my femur and then I hit a tree, you know, just like crazy stuff has happened. So the next year this next upcoming winter, I'm going to definitely make a project and focus really hard on being in the backcountry and then going to the contest, because when I made my movie in 2015 and I did separate it and I was on powder trips in between every contest, I was doing good at the contest, because when I ride a park, I'm not going to go do frontside triple corks or 1440s. That's just like not fun. You wait to the last second. So if you can go on a fun trip where you're really excited and not kind of bumming on going to the next contest, you're going to do better, you know? You got to find moderation. You got to do what you like, even if it's sacrificing missing a contest here and there.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you find yourself battling the blues a lot while you're traveling?
Battling the blues.
What I mean by that is like, man, is it depressing having to travel so much? Is it depressing having like the down days, or feeling like you have these engagements that you have to meet for various companies, whatever? Like how do you stay in a good mindset to stay focused and be happy?
Yeah, I think you just obviously need to stay present and just remind yourself of what the bigger picture is and how good this is. And yeah, I don't really feel too down too often, but I definitely wish sometimes I didn't have to travel so much by myself. Like I'll go like a full day with basically saying no words at times, you know, because we'll travel so far away, and a lot of times I am by myself. A lot of times I'll have my manager or filmer, but we all live in different destinations, so we always meet there, sort of.
Right.
But yeah, I'm loving it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't feel down too much. No.
That's good. That's good.
Too much to be thankful for ever since my last injury, you know, like I wake up every morning and be like, well, it's about 1,000,000 times better than it was, or it could have been for a long time, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Feel really lucky to had been given the opportunity to rehab to full strength, you know? There could have been easily permanent damage.
Yeah, man. How long was it with you riding before you started realizing and people started realizing that you were getting ahead of the pack, ahead of the peers that you were around? Like, was it apparent really quickly?
I would say maybe when I was like 15 or 14, because I'll never forget. I think I might have been 16 at this time. I had just gotten on to Burton, and it was my first season with them, and I was getting invited to the bigger contests, and I podiumed at Dew Tour, which gave me an invite to X Games, and it was all kind of starting to work out. But then this event in Innsbruck, Austria, Aaron Style, which is a very legendary event for years and years and years, they invited me as like a rookie, and it was just so hard to swallow that because I knew I could win the contest, right? And then I was like, no, I'm not coming. And then 10 minutes later, they invited me to the main thing, and then I won. And it was just like, okay.
Wow.
Then I've only had to say no to invites, you know, since that day, pretty much. And I think everybody kind of just like, okay, he's here to stay.
Yeah.
He's younger than most people, but he's just as good. And
that's so funny. What a fucking elite human, like what a subtle flex that just was. Cause I was like, and it wasn't even on purpose, but I'm thinking like, oh, he's going to say, you know, back when I was 11, I could do a 3 before any of my friends or something. And you're like, oh yeah, when I won like one of the most legendary competitions, that's when I knew I was pretty good. And I'm like, well, yeah, I would think by the time you were sponsored by Burton, you probably knew you were better than a lot of the kids you grew up with.
Yeah, I guess that, yeah.
You know,
I was thinking later
it's like a
in the career,
different level.
But yeah, I definitely just love doing action sports so much. And when I had me and my brother, he's a pro snowboarder too. Right. So like having somebody to grow up with, if he learns that, there's no way I'm going off the hill before I learn it, and vice versa. So maybe if I was an only child, I would have had a way harder time because there was nobody in Saskatchewan that
was keeping up with either of you.
Was that into snowboarding right on that level, you know? And
it probably felt kind of underground to you guys a little bit, or like you were part of this elite crew of people that knew about it.
And we were so much younger than the guys that snowboarded, and we were jealous because they could live in the mountains. And
stuff. Were you and your brother competitive with each other? Were you a couple years apart?
Yeah, just like couple days under 2 years apart, and we were the most competitive brothers there were.
Was everything a competition? Oh yeah. Fighting? Did you guys fight a lot?
Fighting a lot of ping pong, a lot of time in the backyard, a lot of just brother shit. You know?
You guys had a ping pong table?
Yep.
Yo, my dad turned our whole basement into like bar games. We had foosball and darts and pool, and oh my god, we got into so many fights over all those bar games. Like
the amount of drywall holes in our basement was insane. From mini sticks.
Yeah.
And then when we got the ping pong table when we were maybe like 13 and 15, my dad was really good at ping pong because he grew up with table, and he could beat us so easily. And then as time went on, we started to beat him, and just it was savage. We would like put our bodies on the line and just fly through the walls stuff.
That's so funny.
It was good times for sure.
But at that same time, that's kind of an outlier benefit because you have this older brother and you're never trying to keep up with kids your own age. You're probably trying to keep up with him at everything. So whether it be hockey or whatever, snowboarding, you're like, oh, I don't care about these 11-year-olds. I want to be a 13-year-old.
Totally. And having a December birthday, I would always have to play like hockey with the older kids or any organized sport, I was always bumped up.
You were the youngest kid.
Yeah. I would always play 1 year with kids my age, and then I would never be like the old kid on the team. I was either my age or older than me. And having an older brother, I don't think I ever had friends when I was, obviously now I have tons of friends that are younger than me, but it was all older our kids. Group of friends, and that was just helped me grow up faster and be a little bit wiser beyond my years, I think. And thankful for that. And my brother's a really, really smart kid, and he's just a really good example.
Yeah. I have maybe kind of a weird question that I'm hoping you don't get that frequently, but like, is it hard to relate to people outside of the industry? Because I feel like your lifestyle would be hard for those who aren't in it to understand it.
Yeah, I don't really think people even try and understand it. And I don't know. I was just in Vancouver on a layover yesterday, and this kid was asking me about what I'm doing this week, and he knows I snowboard for a living, but he doesn't get it. Like I was like, I have a studio shoot with Skullcandy tomorrow, and he's like, do you think you're gonna get some free stuff? I was like, it's a little bit different than what you think. I think this is like real life job stuff, like, but it's a little bit, obviously a lot more laid back, and everybody shares the same vision and passion. And I don't know. I just feel I wish everybody could come experience what we get to do sometimes.
I didn't realize when I started doing this podcast that it would be an ongoing theme, but I feel like the theme that I'm learning about musicians and athletes, sorry, I hit the table, is that your fans and followers sort of stop looking at you as a three-dimensional human, and they just look at this brand of Mark McMorris. And so I would imagine, like, when people come to talk to you, it's like, oh, tell me about this advanced trick you did at this competition. And you're just like, can't we like talk about the movies or something,
Yeah, totally. It's insane.
Yeah.
Some of the questions, but they just don't get it. So you gotta,
and you can't fault them for that. Like, they love you for that.
Give them everything.
Yeah.
And my fans are so cool with me, and I don't know, people like this. Obviously I was home recently, so it's pretty savage when I go home, and we went to a football game, and it's hard to kind of like move around, and people are like, oh, you must be so over that. But every single person has something positive to say, or like, you've been an inspiration, or my kids, you've helped him through this injury, or this, like, how can you really get down on that?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, dude,
for sure sometimes it gets crazy, but I don't know. If it's all positive, then let her happen.
Right, totally. That's a good perspective to have. Shit, even when that time that I met you at Hood, it was like empty. It was fucking June, and still every person that we saw in the lodge was like stopping you for pictures, and I'm like, wow, that must be such a pain in the ass. But you just put it in a good perspective.
How I try and tell people when they ask me, isn't this you must get this all the time, it must be so annoying. But it's like, dude, you're all making me blush, basically.
Yeah, totally. That's pretty sick. What do you do? What things do you enjoy outside of snowboarding, man? What are the human things that you like to do?
Well, obviously, I love spending time with my friends, seeing shows, traveling for not snowboarding, going surfing destinations, skating. Yeah. Just like surrounding myself around different things and having some moderation, Yeah. I love a lot of things in life, but
what kind of shows do you go to?
Hip hop usually, or
like who? I'm like that's kind of my thing. Who,
really?
Yeah. Who do you like?
I saw Lil Yachty in Norway last month.
In Norway?
Yeah.
Wow.
Played at X Games, which was pretty cool.
Nice.
And then my friends have a music festival next weekend in Vermont, but that's more of a bluegrassy,
like jam band burner fest,
heady style, which is super fun. And then, man, I guess I haven't really been to that many shows recently. Yeah. But hip hop is my favorite kind of music, and that's how I wake up every day.
No shit. Who are you listening to right now? It's a big summer for rap music now.
It's huge, dude. Yeah. I've been loving that new ASAP Rocky album.
Yeah, Testing.
Yep, Testing.
Have you heard the Pusha T record?
I've heard some stuff.
Bruh, the new Pusha T is phenomenal.
Yep.
Kanye then just dropped that Kids See Ghosts.
Yep, that's pretty cool. I'm definitely looking forward to Driz.
Yeah.
I've been kind of down with Sway Lee.
Yo, Sway Lee is one of the biggest geniuses in pop music right now.
So smart, and he
he
started singing, and it's just like, why?
He is one of the best songwriters in music right now. I mean, you got writing credits for Beyonce, bro. You can't beat that.
No, you can't. Yeah. And then obviously, I've been listening to anybody and everybody from Canada. There's so much good hip hop out of Toronto. It's insane.
Yeah, like Baka Not Nice.
Baka, Nav,
how about
Jazz Cartier?
Oh yeah, Jazz Cartier is great.
Tory Lanez, like they're all from Toronto. It's insane.
How about
Party Next Door?
Yeah, P&D is great. How about old school Canadian hip hop like Battle Axe Records? You know.
Yep.
Yeah.
And oh my God, Def 3. He's the guy from Regina, and he did a lot of stuff with man. Why am I blanking on this right now? Name some old Canadian hip hop.
I have one in my head that I can picture as
Swollen Members.
Oh yeah, Swollen Members. That's Battle Axe. Okay, but there's another dude that I'm trying to think of from Canada who's like a bald-headed white dude that I used to listen to as well. I can't think of his name. Anyway, Canada got a long-standing hip hop history.
Canada's crushing in music in general, man. Like a friend of mine. I'm not into the music he writes necessarily, but he's been like. He was just a YouTube kid, Shawn Mendes, and I've known Shawn for years.
Get the
and
fuck
now
out. Really?
He's like
he's huge.
He's one of the biggest artists in the world right now. He's crushing.
I mean, he's like so big that I don't really know who he is because I just don't pay attention to pop culture like that.
Yeah.
But I know that Shawn Mendes is enormous.
Yeah,
and you just knew him from a kid.
Yeah, like not. Well, maybe since the last Olympics, he started reaching out, but he was way smaller then, and it's just been fun watching him. And one of my close friends, is his day-to-day manager. So it's just crazy to see him grow. And then,
how about this old school alternative Canadian hip hop artist, Buck 65? Have you ever heard of him?
Like Buck
like 65, BUCK 65.
First Nation.
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
He's a white dude. He used to be on this record label called Anticon. It's obscure, but if we're shouting out Canadian artists, I'm shouting out Buck 65.
Buck
Peep him out.
65,
he's
I
tight.
will.
Yeah, he's got good hockey references and baseball references, all kind of stuff. Oh,
nice.
yeah.
I like that new song where I think it's Watch by Travis Scott and Kanye and Lil Uzi. Yeah. And Kanye makes a hockey goalie reference in it. I was loving it.
That's tight.
But, yeah, music's just fun.
Yeah.
Gets you stoked. I ride with music.
Yeah, that's
a lot of times when I compete, I'll have a headphone in and just kind of dip it out right before I drop in because you can't really hear anything once you're on the hill. Like you're so zoned in,
black
and
out.
You need to hear sound and wind and know your speed. But music is definitely an amplifier for me if I'm going to try something new or if I need to just like coast.
Well, talk to me about some of the people you might listen to right before you drop in.
What was I listening
look at your
to?
Spotify. Go ahead.
Dude, I was definitely on the Chance the Rapper at the Olympics hard.
Acid Rap or the newer one?
The newer one, Coloring Book.
Yeah, Coloring Book. There you
go. And then I always have to listen to Drake.
Yeah.
He's just the Canadian god, sixth god. And then I would have been listening to a little bit of Kodak Black.
Yeah.
Just like some heavy heat.
Hell
to
yeah.
get you going. And
hey,
then
shout out Kodak.
Yeah, I've been listening to a lot of Post. Obviously, that album's insane. He's crushing too.
I just saw a really funny Twitter moment today. I don't know if you saw it, but it said that this is terrible. They might want to edit this out, but it said that at a meet and greet at a Post Malone concert, one of his fans threw up because he smelled so bad.
No way.
That's what the Twitter moment said, and I'm not calling him out on that. I'm just saying that's what's on the line.
What's a Twitter moment?
Like, when you click the little magnifying glass thing for search, there's all those moments that pop up. It's like news events.
What's trending?
Yeah, like what's trending exactly. And one of the stories was
holy crap
at a meet and greet.
Dude, he looks like he smells bad. He is gnarly looking, but his music sounds pretty good right now.
Yeah, how about it? I randomly have Post Malone's phone number. I don't know if it still works, but I have it in my phone because before he broke, my buddies had him play a warehouse party And I have and I have a music podcast that I do on the side. And so I was like, hey man, I have this show, kind of neat, you know, you should come on. And he's like, oh yeah, I fuck with that, like let's do it. And then he got like hugely famous overnight. Yeah. And so he like gave me his number because he's like the nicest dude ever, but I never was able to have him on the show. Yeah.
That's sweet.
Should we prank call him? No, I'm just kidding.
Man, I couldn't even imagine on that level. Like sometimes I'll get people that get my number and we'll just like call. And
you gotta like change your number a lot?
Nope. No, I'm pretty chill with that. You can delete or block numbers and stuff.
True. That's true.
But I could only imagine on that sort of level of fame how annoying that would get.
Oh yeah, like if it gets out to the public, it's like game over.
It's over.
Unless you're Mike Jones, because then it's like, you know, hit Mike Jones up on the low.
Yeah.
But anyway, so when you do have the chance to like go to a rap show, do you appreciate that time where you just get to be a face in the crowd?
Yes, I love it.
How does that feel?
It feels great. I always go to this one sort of like mellow hip hop festival in Vancouver with a bunch of my friends, and everybody's kind of just having fun, so it doesn't really matter. And I don't know, it's just a nice change for sure. But there'll be days where you go and you don't get noticed, you know, or like it's so chill down here for me.
Yeah, I mean,
not a ton of snowboard crazy people,
right?
So you can whatever, but then you'll have days where it's more than not, or
it's probably such a regional
you'll be in like a big crowd, or if people see somebody go for it, then they're like, oh, it's chill, I can go for it, which is fine. But
yeah, but those times where you get to just be like a normal dude,
they're pretty sweet.
Yeah, you get to just relish in that. Yeah, totally. What do you think? What do you think life after snowboarding is going to be like?
I don't know. Try not to think too much into the future.
Yeah.
But something dope's gonna come along, I'm sure. I'm gonna just try and keep buying up property and be able to do what I want when I'm done.
Right, because that's the thing, is like
you're been going pretty hard for 10 years now, and I think I got another 10 in me probably, and then do something else.
Yeah.
But always snowboard and always be involved, but we'll see, you know. I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, so.
Right, totally. I mean, you see those guys, and this is just whatever. If this shit doesn't come out interesting, they can edit this part out. But you see these guys who don't reach the level that you have, where you get to that place where you're sponsored or you have a board or whatever, but you're not this elite dude, and they don't like stack the money the right way. And so then you get to your 30s and it's like, oh fuck, what now? You're at this place where you're like the goddamn Kobe Bryant of the sport. So I'm sure like you don't got to worry about it in the future, but it's like at that point, what do you do to fulfill that drive in you later? You know what I mean? Because I'm sure that thing within you that makes you do this is probably going to be a hard void.
We're all a little bit crazy, I think, if we made it this far on a piece of wood or a skateboard or a surfboard, you know, we have something different in us. But yeah, I think like I'm not going to want to stop the lifestyle I live, you know. I'm going to want to move around all the time. I'm going to want to have nice things, you know, like that stuff is, I like that. And
yeah, of course.
I like simplicity too, for sure. But yeah, I don't know how I'm going to feel or what I'm going to want to do, but I'm going to definitely try and be smart with it and give myself the opportunity to do whatever I want to do when I'm done.
Yeah, totally, man. What's it like representing your country in the Olympics? How's that feel?
That's pretty cool, just because Canada is my favorite place on earth, and there's not another country in the world that gets behind the Winter Olympics like Canada does, you know, and like everybody watches the games back home, and we're such a winter-based country, so it's huge for us. And you don't really necessarily realize the magnitude of it until it's over, and you're like, holy shit, like a lot of people were paying attention to that. Because that's
kind of what I was going to ask, is like, since you are competing like close to year round, it's like, does that one just feel like another day, or does it actually feel different?
That contest is a different beast, you know. I'm not usually I don't know. The Olympics is hard to explain, but we got everybody time. Yeah, you know, people, pretty much everybody knows about the X Games, but like everybody's grandma knows about the Olympics, you know?
Right.
That's kind of how I put it into perspective. It's a big one.
Yeah.
Comes around once every 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
you want to do good, and it can definitely change your life and financial situation if you like are in the right place at the right time or do something, you know, like it's pretty crazy the weight it holds, and it's a love-hate relationship with the Olympics and the IOC and shit, but we won't get into that.
So meeting you the first time, one of my like dream questions to ask, you know, guys who do this for a living and get to go around the world riding is like, what is your dream place to ride? Where if you could ride every single day in the conditions that you wanted, where would it be? And I'm going to re-ask that for everybody.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I know Japan, if you want to just ride powder, and it's really deep and not crazy steep there. Right. But if I was like gonna just snowboard every day for the rest of my life with my friends, it would be pretty good to be there, or it would be pretty damn good to be anywhere in British Columbia.
BC, yeah.
Yeah, but it's wherever the snow's good at the time, or wherever the weather's on point.
Yeah.
But I don't think I would be sane if I had to stay in the same place ever again.
Of course. Do you have an all-time favorite day of riding that sticks out in your head? Just a day where you and your friends were ripping and it was just like the best time ever?
I can remember back to this March 2014. We were on probably the best trip I've ever been on in my life. Yeah. We went to Selkirk Heli, and we were shooting the Oakley movie, and I was with Terje Hawkinson, Nicholas Mueller, and Jake Blauvelt.
Wow. Terje was like my first snowboarding idol.
Yeah, so Terje is the godfather, and then you got Nicholas, who's like the godfather under Terje, and then Jake Blauvelt, who is like the new Nicholas, you know? I don't know. It's just insane, and we had perfect sun and good stable snow, and it was the most experience I've ever got free riding, and I've never had that much fun in my life. Really? And I just want to relive that moment every day.
Yeah, that's that shit that stokes you just for...
Yeah, it's just something that maybe hasn't brought me like... Maybe... I guess it isn't something that has brought me all my success, and it's just a new thing, and I realized how hard it is, and it's a different sort of like intense than... competing,
it's a new challenge.
Yeah, like, I don't know, it's just refreshing, and ever since that day I just want to do more of that.
Yeah, man.
And doing good in contests and stuff, it gives me the opportunity to have those experiences and stuff, you know. I don't think without my success prior to that trip I would have ever been on that trip, you know.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's the kind of shit that sounds like dreams are made of that.
Yeah,
that's what you dream about.
It literally is.
Yeah, that's amazing, dude.
Thank you.
At this point, snowboarding, man, when you watch it on TV now compared to watching it 20 years ago, it's a whole different sport. You know what I mean? How do you guys even find the ideas and inspirations to keep pushing shit farther? I don't like, as whenever it seems like it's as far as it could possibly go, somebody does it a little more. How the fuck, like...
I know. How? I wonder that same thing every day.
But you're one of those people that pushes it.
I know, it's because, you know, you have to stay on top of it, and it's just impressive that you can push something so far, and I don't know where it's going to go, but I'm glad to be like one of the guys that is pushing it. And I guess that's a good thing about competing too, is like you sharpen your skills. You have to be able to do these tricks on command and stuff, and then if you are a trick behind or you need to step up your game, you like see it around you, and you understand it and feel it, and then try it, you know?
Yeah. This might be stupid, but do you feel like you have like this innate understanding of physics that other humans don't have? Because like
that's a pretty good question. I do. I really do believe that.
Yeah, because
just like skaters.
Yeah.
I know like how to put their body to like do a hard way frontside 180 switch crook or something. Like, how do you do that? And I'm sure they wonder how to know like to like just under rotate slightly so you match up with the landing. Like things like that just are like second nature for us, but when you look from an outsider's perspective, it is a lot of like physics knowledge.
It's like almost you have this innate understanding of science that tells you like, oh, if the
Air
lip
awareness
is curved this way, then I will be able to spin this amount. And
Yeah.
it's like, how do you have that intuition to do that?
Just time on your board, I guess. But yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, man. Well, what's next for you?
I have a golf tournament in Toronto, and
Fuck yeah,
then
like
I'm
to
gonna
golf?
do some snowboarding. I love golfing.
What's your handicap? I'm just
It's not
kidding. I don't
even
even know
worth
what that
talking
means.
about.
Yeah.
But it'll be fun, and yeah, I'm just gonna try and spend some time at my place here, and also just get back to Canada and be around my family as much as I can.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, good shit, man.
Thanks.
Yeah, so you get some summertime off down here in Southern California, catch some waves.
Yeah, that's the plan. Catch
Nice.
some waves, skate it up, and just be around family and friends and do all the obligations I have. And usually in the summertime, they're not so stressful and they're more fun. And
So you get to
everything's
spend
a little
time
bit of
being
a
human.
party.
Yeah.
In the summer, it seems like, and everybody's trying to have fun. So looking
yeah.
forward to it.
Hell yeah, man. Well, I appreciate the time. I think
No
that
problem.
we did what we came to do. Do me a favor. I mean, you're very easy to Google, but if you want anybody to like follow you on Instagram or Twitter, tell them where to do that.
Yeah. All my handles are just Mark McMorris.
Bang.
Lowercase, Twitter, Instagram, Snap,
There you go.
Facebook.
Follow this man, one of the busiest men in action sports, and one of the.
Yeah, you won't be bored. Let's just say that.
I
Dude,
mean-
a lot of different stuff. It's no day's the same, so I feel really lucky and like to be able to share it with everybody.
Yeah, man. Congrats on doing something you love, and as far as it fucking has taken you, it's really impressive to watch. So,
Thank you,
yeah,
Lee.
man,
I
most
appreciate it.
Most definitely. All right, thank you guys. That was it.
Bro.
You Feel Me. Thanks for tuning in to You Feel Me. If you want to hear more, go to skullcandy.com/music. Want a pair of headphones like the ones we used for today's episode? As a special thanks to our listeners, we're giving you 30% off your next Skullcandy order with the promo code MUSICYOUCANFEEL. That's MUSICYOUCANFEEL. Subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast app now to stay up to date on our latest episodes.